And through the Real Reporter, I have captured some of my life that means so much to me. The initial move to Sludanka, which you guys saw the first episode, which is almost, of course, is almost at 2 million views. And now to this new episode, which you should go watch right now. Before you even finish this video, please listen to me and go watch the new episode by The Real Reporter, because it tells the next chapter in my life, right? I have moved on from my previous life. I have completely evolved into a new person. Siberia has given me a life that I never imagined I could have. So please head over to The Real Reporter channel. Let him know that the Wild Siberia channel sent you, that you are being sent there from the shores of Baikal. Of course, I am not there now, but my spirit is there with Ksenia and her father, my whole family, all of my friends in Russia. Please go over there, watch the second part, and then come back and finish this video where you're going to get to meet my family, and we're going to get to talk about how my life was here before I even found out about life in Russia. Lily and I are going to take a walk down memory lane. This is the road that we used to take to go to school. Do you remember that?
Going to school and coming back from school. Sometimes, you know, you get unlucky and you have to come back as well.
Yeah, sometimes my mom wouldn't give us a ride.
Yeah.
And we would have to walk, but it's actually not that bad. It's maybe 30 minutes, 35 minutes, depending on how fast you're going. And, you know, for me as a guy, it's nothing. But I understand you and my sister Adias had a different story, right?
Yes. Okay, so we have a liquor right here, and sometimes, you know, homeless people sometimes will be there, and they're mostly guys. And so I would tell my older sister, like, act ugly, like make an ugly face so you don't attract attention to yourself. As silly as that is, that's what I felt made me comfortable, because I don't want to, the cat calls all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it was nasty. And I'm a high schooler at the time. I was a high schooler. I was like, ugh.
It's totally understandable, you know.
Nasty.
Unfortunately, I couldn't walk back with them all the time, but they would tell me stories.
Yeah, it's really bad.
And this is what the streets look like here. Sometimes they're not paved, and for the most part, it's mostly rural style, right? You see the palm trees.
Those are new apartments over there.
Yeah, new apartments in the background. This is totally different than it was before. By the way, this is Lily's boyfriend.
Hi, babe.
It's kind of funny that you guys, we met.
This is the walk, though. If you want to get groceries sometimes, you got to walk it to the liquor.
Yeah, you have to walk to the liquor to get the groceries and stuff. That's how it was.
Yep.
Nice. Guys, like I said, we found Brian, Lily's boyfriend. And actually, when I met Brian for the first time, he was walking my little sister from school.
It was my high school crush.
Yeah.
I would get so mad sometimes, because I would be embarrassed. Like, oh my God, a guy's walking me home. My brother's going to see him. Like, what is he going to think? But he's just a friend at that time.
Yeah. What were you thinking, though? Like, what made you do that?
So I know this neighborhood's kind of pretty bad.
Yeah.
So especially down this area, this hood right here across the railroad, it gets complex. So I was like, man, it's better if I walk her, if she has a dude along her side. What's up, dude? And so I was like, I had to walk her. I had to make sure everything's good, and like, they're not gonna do anything to a guy, or that's what I felt. They were gonna do nothing to us.
And to be honest, like he said, like on this side of the train tracks, it's way different. And that's just how it is sometimes. They say you live on the wrong side of the tracks. Well, we are on the wrong side of the tracks. This was our hood, our neighborhood. So I say thanks, bro, for taking care of my sister.
All day, dude. My pleasure.
We're gonna keep walking, guys.
The best.
When my sisters say it felt dangerous, is because there's an area like this. You see, there's trash cans and bums hanging around there. There's also a recycling area there. What can you tell me, like some stories about this place?
I used to bring cans here with my dad sometimes in his truck, load up the truck full of bottles.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's, you know, some money right there.
That was the life, you know. My sisters grew up recycling, guys. I used to do it when I was younger, but they got pushed into it as they were growing older. And that's just the life out here. You have to scrape through. We're gonna keep walking. We just got to the liquor store. All right, Luz, we're getting to that infamous corner where all the danger is. But actually, it's not so bad right now.
Yeah, I think it's more like towards the night and the mornings that you will see a lot of like homeless people on this corner and just sketchy things going on. Drug deals right here.
Yeah, it happens all the time. We're gonna wait for the light and you're gonna see what it looks like. It's a beautiful afternoon, it's amazing. One thing that's beautiful about California is the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out, guys. This is a beautiful town, actually. It's just had the wrong kind of people growing up, and I was part of the problem. What'd you just press?
Oh, the crosswalk.
You think that works?
I mean, I think so. At least it will have the little man on the thing go like
Yeah,
walk.
it'll let the little man at least appear. You're right. But basically, guys, we had to walk down this road for going to school. And the road back in the day was maybe 30 to 35 minutes.
It's kind of crazy walking past the studio, and I haven't walked this same route in like 10 years.
Yeah, that's what Lily said. She hasn't walked in so
Really?
long. Yeah.
Yeah, getting older. I mean, you typically go to the school. You go to school with the same people, like from middle school to high school, so you kind of know who lives here.
Yeah.
You would try to catch a ride because.
Yeah. If you saw someone of your friends, you'd be like, "Hey, that's whatever," and you knew his mother, so she would stop for you sometimes.
Yeah.
But back in my day, I had a lot of friends that used to steal cars, and you know that life.
Yeah.
We used to just get on the car, and they would give us a ride to the school, and we dump the car somewhere.
That's crazy to hear.
Wow, the sidewalks are pretty well maintained. Besides this trash here, this house has never had people that were civilized. Unfortunately, like, bad people live in that house. They don't take care of their house or their kids, and they used to sell drugs out of that house.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of bad stories I can tell you about that house. But look at this. It doesn't look that bad. And we're gonna head to one of the most important places in town for me. Behind me is the main area. When I used to go to middle school, when I first got involved, you know, like in organized crime, like my sister said, it was the life for me, but the school is across the street from the park. And what we would do is come out of the school, head into the park here, and hang out behind these benches. If anybody had a fight and anything like that, we used to fight all the time. And the rest of the park area, as you can see on this side, is actually much bigger. And if you come with me, I'll tell you why. When you get into high school, when I got out of middle school and stuff like that, the rest of the park area was open to us because that's where the high school kids hung out. That is where the bigger gangs existed. That is where all the big problems got fixed. This park, Sylmar Park, is held like 7 years of my life. 3 in middle school and 4 in high school. That was my life. As you can see, nobody's using these basketball courts, guys. And these are pretty good basketball courts. Nobody's playing tennis. It's a free day today. Nobody's out here. There's not a lot of things going on. In fact, these buildings here, they look like jail cells. Like, these are institutionalized buildings. Here in Los Angeles, nothing looks friendly, right? In your city, maybe it looks friendly, but where we're from, everything looks like you're in a prison. All right, so as we're seeing this, guys, to you might mean nothing, right? But this tagging on this right here, this can be life and death. As dumb as that sounds, these little kids with their markers, they put it all on the line, you know, ruining buildings like this with their dumb graffiti. And like I told you, this looks like some sort of jail. I remember growing up, we used to think actually that's where juvenile hall was. It's kind of like a joke because it's all celled up. But again, the crime here starts very young. These things right here that you see are little kids who are out here tagging, and you cross them out, you put your name, it could be your life. Guys, it's time to show you where my high school is. It's completely changed. I recently saw it, and it doesn't even look like my old school. Let's go, Sylmar High School. So this was probably almost the last portion of my walk to school, guys. I would make this right, and you could see the park here to my right. But for the most part, in the morning, we wouldn't really hang out. It was just get to school and can't wait to get out. This park is completely changed. There's a lot of things for the kids. There's a lot of activities for the people. And the people just always used to tag it, but now it's actually clean. Well, we made it to the Silmar High School. Lily, you graduated from here, right?
Yes, I did. 2013, I think.
2013.
Yeah, 2013.
Wow. And guys, by the way, I guess they're still doing graffiti here at this school. It used to be way worse back in my day. But what does it feel like being back here? When's the last time you were here?
I haven't been here since a long time. I don't remember how many years, but it's been a while. Yeah.
Actually, I haven't been here in maybe like 20 years at least. I don't know how long it's been since I graduated from high school, but you know, there's just nothing for me to do here. I don't really care. School, like high school, some people make a big deal out of it, Lily.
I know. I know. Well, that was the only way I saw that I had to do good. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I had to do well in school to move forward. Like, that's all we knew.
Yeah, but what I'm saying when I say people made a big deal out of it,
Yeah.
it's like people got so invested in the culture. You know, they make movies about it.
Oh, yeah.
How I need to be a cheerleader or be in the football team.
Yeah, there was. Girl, when I came to school here, you know, you had your class clowns. So people always trying to like be funny. Then you had the jocks. Like
Yeah.
once people got into football, like it's like they had a new crew and they couldn't talk to anybody else. Like, you know, like. But,
I never enjoyed that. Didn't like it at all. I never cared, and that's why I was in the stuff that I was in. But let's show the front of the school. I know that in some countries they have open schools, but this is all locked up like this. There's gated community. It's like a gated community where you can't go in. There's a one entrance and it's gated all the way around. I'm wondering, how is the schools in your country? Because this is what, for the most part, they look like in California. As you read on that sign, it's telling you people are going to be like metal detected searched. And I remember coming to school, we always had, you know, the security guard checking for weapons, checking for knives. We had tasers. Like, this was the real deal school. A lot of my friends were arrested for selling guns in class or selling drugs. That was like a lot of people's livelihood. As strange as that might sound, like Silmar High School back in those days had all those problems, and I guess they still might have them because the sign is still here. Tobacco use is prohibited on school property at all times. That was a joke as well, because there was people smoking and stuff before there was vapes. So all I have to say is that hopefully in your countries, this is not a normal thing where they're asking you that you will be like metal detected searched. And yeah, that was just unfortunate and something that I grew up with. And because all of my upbringing and my turmoil life and joining the military and all of that, that's one of the biggest things that pushed me to look for new places to live and explore the world. And by the way, let me just remind you, if you have not seen The Real Reporter's next episode on my life in Siberia, you have to go check it out. Right, Lily?
check it out. Check it out.
Check it out, guys. It is a biography episode. It is so beautiful and it means so much to me. You have to go check it out. Let him know that I sent you.
My favorite part was when you visited the old lady at her house. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like speechless.
That lady was amazing. She brought us in, and we're one town, one love, and I loved it. Guys, I appreciate you so much for coming out with me and my family to see my school, the park, and you learn a little bit more about my life. But now it's time for you to learn more about them and what they think about my life in Russia or about my life growing up. I think it's going to be very interesting for you guys to learn about what they went through with me in this town. So let's go back home and get to talking with my sisters and my mother. So this is my sister Adias, and we're going to ask her a couple questions. First of all, Negra, well, this is what I call her, sorry. What was it like growing up with me? What do you remember, you know?
Well, if I'm being honest here, the first thing that would pop into my head is you coming back with a purple eye and hearing getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Being the one that's adventurous and out there. But just overall hearing your stories of being in a gang and things like that, I'd be like, huh? My brother's a leader of a gang? How does that? And your stories of how you would fight. So, yeah.
You know, the gangs already existed before I even joined or was involved in them. This was the lifestyle that I grew up in. Can you tell us a little bit about what you remember about those things?
I just remember in school, each person had their own association game that they were part of it. And I remember we would walk together, and these guys, you'd be like, hey, hold my sister's backpack, because I would have a big old backpack. So I know there was like a sense of all these outcast kids coming together, trying to form a family, because in a sense, we were all separated. We had each other as family, but we all had our own little individual lives. And in a sense, I think that's what gangs were there for. Like apart from our initial family, which I felt like we weren't as connected as we are now, you went out and looked for that. I'm not sure, but I don't want to speak for you, but that's how I felt, because I myself wasn't as close to my sisters. Just now we're getting closer and telling each other our stories when we were kids. Like, we had an overall vision of what we thought was going on, but now that we're getting into it, I'm like, wow, you went through that?
Now, we moved on, you know, you went to school, you became a professional after graduating from university. I went into the military and got out of this town, and now I live in Russia. What is your opinion on that? Seeing my life evolve. You were born after me, so we're actually very similar in age.
The thing is with us, we crash heads, we bump heads, because you have a view, I have a view, and I'm like, well, he's never going to change. And I feel Russia has actually evolved you. You hated going out. You're now more expressive, welcoming. I think I feel like a liberation from you. You're like, when your weight, how's that saying? When the weight is lifted off your shoulders, a sense of freedom and able to, I see you enjoying now life, and it's good to see. It's a breath of fresh air, because I see how you came back now and you're more involved in a sense where you want to go out and do things with us. And it's just happy to see, and I'm proud.
Thank you so much. That was my sister, Adias Negra. She, by the way, is going to come out in a future episode where we do El Día de los Muertos. This is the one that you guys have been asking for. This is the sister that does the designs. Thank you so much, Negra.
Thank you. Love you.
All right, Lily, welcome. This is my fourth sibling. She's born after Adias. I wanted to ask, what was it like growing up in the Valley, knowing me? You know, you're a little bit younger than I am. What do you remember?
You're very rebellious, and because of that, I feel you had to look for an outlet in some way, so you were involved in crime, and I would see you sometimes come home with a bruise on your eye, which kind of worried me. But I feel because of the way that you were in our childhood, that kind of led you to join the Marines, which kind of helped, wouldn't say fix that, but kind of allowed yourself to express yourself more in a way that you wanted to be. Yeah.
You know, Lily, I when I said that I was going to travel to Russia and eventually I decided to stay, what did you feel? What was your initial thoughts about that?
Well, I'm not really too much into like what's going on, but I just knew that there was a war going on. So I was like, wait, you're going to Russia and well, like a conflict is happening, like, and you're an American Marine. So I was really thrown off by that, but because I didn't know the reality of it. But after you went, you talked to me, you were safe. I was scared for your safety, but seeing your videos really helps me reassure myself that the people are just people in the end, and like that's all that matters.
I stayed in Russia for over a year, and I'm barely coming back to see you. What are some of the differences that you've noticed in me?
I feel like you're a more relaxed person than you used to be, and more, I don't know if it's empathetic or sympathetic, but I feel like when I try to express myself and I try to tell you how I'm feeling, I feel like you're more understanding in that way. And you've grown to be more of a family person. Like, you now literally want your own family, and like you can't wait to start that.
We're here with my mother, Marta. You've already seen her on a live, and I basically want to let you guys know, you heard from my sisters. I had a rough upbringing. I eventually joined the military, and I wanted to ask my mother, how was it? Ma, ¿cómo era tener un hijo que se fue a las Marinas de Estados Unidos?
Para mí fue muy difícil porque creí que nunca te iba a volver a ver, pero siempre confié en ti, que ibas a regresar.
You know, guys, she's letting me know that she was very anxious or nervous and scared, basically, because she didn't know if she was going to see me again. And in reality, she knew that my job was dangerous. But she had a lot of, she believed in me, basically. She had a lot of faith in me and in my abilities. Ma, usted cuando yo fui a la guerra, usted todavía me escribía, ¿verdad?
Todos los días. Desde el día que te fuiste, día a día te hice una carta.
Yeah, I asked my mother, Mom, when I was in Afghanistan in the war, you used to write to me all the time, right? And she says, every day since you left into the military, I wrote a letter to you. Mom, you know, I've lived in Russia now for a long time, ¿verdad? Usted sabe eso. Yo me he vivido en Rusia ya mucho tiempo.
Sí, casi 2 años.
Almost 2 years. That's exactly right. Now, I want to know, Mom, when are you going to come visit me in Moscow? Because I will be moving to Moscow for a few months. ¿Cuándo usted va a ir a visitarme a Moscú?
Pienso que el año que entra, a principios de agosto, a fines de julio, vamos a ir junto con mi esposo, está sacando su visa para poder emigrar para allá.
Wow. So my mom's planning in visiting me from like August, September, you know, later in the year because they still have to do a lot of paperwork. She's actually going to go with her husband, my stepfather, Rafa. They want to visit Moscow. They want to see what the environment is like. And I've talked up a storm about it. So they have to go visit. I want to say thanks to my mom. Muchas gracias, ma, por darnos la vida que nos dio. Thanks, Mom, for giving us the life that we had. You know, we had a rough upbringing, actually. But my mom always believed in us, and she always wanted the best for us in the end, and she always supported us. And the reason why I am, you know, going to make my life in Russia is because she came to the United States as an immigrant and made all of this happen. And I feel inspired to be able to make my new life in Russia. So muchas gracias, ma. La quiero mucho.
Gracias a ti.
This, of course, is the last of my siblings. This is Luz. Many of you guys have already seen her, of course, and she's already answered actually a lot of questions. But Luz, one of the most important questions for me is, what would you feel like for me to be married and have kids? What does that feel like? What does that idea produce for you?
That will make me really happy and fulfilled because I know it's something that you've always wanted for your whole life. And for you to be happy makes me happy and ultimately the whole family happy.
Yeah, actually, that is one of the most important things for me, aside from what Lily said, is like having a baby. I want to make my family, and it's got to be in Russia. You know, being the youngest, you're almost 10 years younger than me. What was some of the things that you heard when you grew up that, like, I asked Adias and Lily about my life, and they remember actually because they were there for most of it. What are some things that you heard from them?
Well, not from them, but just I would always recognize you'd be getting in trouble in school.
Yeah.
And you moved schools once too. I don't know for what, but I know it was because you got in trouble. You got into some sort of trouble. But nothing really much. I mean, when I would see you with your friends and your friends would see me on the street, they'd be like, oh, that's Daniel's little sister. And I don't know, you were just very recognized here and very loved.
Yeah, you know,
respected.
The interesting thing about that is that I translated that into the Marine Corps. Lily actually brought that up. When I went into the Marine Corps, I used the same skills that I had from the streets, but for like better things. And I think that really helped me evolve. And when I went to Russia, I kind of had to evolve again and get rid of some of the even worse things of part of my life. And overall, would you say that I've changed since I came back from Russia?
Oh man, yes, 100%. I feel like you're happier. You're more fulfilled and you have like, I don't know, you just seem happier. And overall, it's something that's important to the whole family, is for you to be happy. And it makes us happy to see that you have something that you're looking forward to. You found a woman that loves you, you love each other, and you want to settle down, which is amazing. Because, okay, I'm just going to throw this in here. Like, I would remember that you would find girls and you'd be like, I just want to have a baby and leave the girl, you know, but...
Yeah, that was a thought that I used to say. Yeah. Like, you know what? Some of these women, they're not fulfilling me, and I'd just rather have a kid and let me have the kid and let me raise it.
Exactly. And so it's amazing and beautiful that Senya is in our life. And I say our life because that's my sister now. And I love the love that you guys have, and I look forward to the future.
Yeah, me too. That life is not something that I wish on anyone. I know that it's looked down upon in some countries, but for me and for thousands and maybe even millions across this country, as a minority, you kind of get pushed into it. Perhaps I was weak of mind, I'll admit it, all right? Maybe I was influenced by the wrong people. I accept that, but I changed. I went to the Marine Corps, I made my life in Russia, and I expect that anybody who's watching this to want to find your own freedom, because that's ultimately what I found. I found my American dream in Siberia. I have Ksenia now. I have a whole new family apart from my sisters and my mother and my brother, but I have something for myself, and that is worth the world to me. Please do make sure to let The Real Reporter know that I sent you. Go watch the second part on his channel about my life documentary in Russia. It is a beautiful composition of different moments of my life. It is basically a small biography of what it's like to go from one country, the United States, and migrate into a massive new world, which is the Siberian outback, I guess. Irkutsk Oblast, Russia. Do let me know what you think about that video. I personally think it is the best one yet. I have to say thank you so much to Constantine from The Real Reporter for documenting that part of my life, like I said, because it is everything to me. You know, a lot of people sometimes wish that somebody was there to watch their exploits, somebody there to tell their story. And I actually had my good friend come from Moscow and record my life, document my town, which is Sludanka. It means the world to me. By the way, on the next episode, on Sunday, you guys are going to get the full Skid Row episode. A lot of you guys have been requesting this. Luz and I went on the streets of Los Angeles, and we totally captured a lot of stuff that is worth talking about, all right?
Do you know how many deaths they were had in 6 months here? Right, they had over 500 deaths.
People in the streets dying?
Died from fentanyl.
Banquet of Hope. Got that wind.
To hear that fentanyl killing off people.
500, he said.
What, 3 months?
I don't know. Thank you guys so much for the support that you've given this channel. We're almost to 30,000 subscribers. This is a community. When people say your channel has grown, I say no, guys. Our community has grown. And I mean it with my heart. Nothing that I have done on this platform is because of me alone. You know, you guys share videos, you guys give likes, you guys give comments, you help grow this community, you tell your friends, and now I have friends that I recognize all the time in the comment section, and it means so much to me. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned a little bit more about me, and I hope that you learned a little bit more about Russia. All right, be kind to each other. If you want to see more content, you can click any of these 2 videos. I'll see you guys on the next one.